Yo everyone, welcome back to my Tsukihime live stream. We're gonna be doing the first day of Arcueid routes. So let's see, I think I have to load. Yeah, this is where we're starting. Morning of Homecoming. But yeah, so a few things to keep in reminder. I'm not really going to be reading most of the dialogue, I guess. We're just reading like the descriptive word stuff. Another thing also is that I do actually have an Ekidona outfit on the way for my VTuber model, so pretty soon we're going to have a pretty much completed, updated VTuber model that I'm going to be using for a long time. At least until I get a professionally done one, but that probably won't be ever, or it'll be a long time from now. The channel is going to be going back towards more of an Echidna theme, which should be pretty fun, because that's where most of my like channel theme stuff's even started, back on my original channel. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into Tsukihime. And also remember, you can chat in the chat down there below. It'll show up on screen. Pretty cool, pretty cool. But yeah, let's get going with Tsukihime. The above ground rail line switches to an underground line without warning. The train, spewing artificial light, dives into the darkness. The sound of creaking vehicles, artificial lights passing by at regular intervals. As my seat vibrates in the time with the second hand of the clock, I think about the passage of time and space. It's early morning, 6:33 a.m. Half an hour has passed since I got on this train. I can't go back anymore. All this time and distance is now keeping me apart from my family that took care of me for all these years. How I accept this may be a measure of the depth of my compassion as a human being. Despite our physical distance, do I think of them as still being close? Or have I written them off as a part of the past? I wonder which of the two I feel. I ponder it for a moment and then realize I don't feel either. I'm the only one in the 8-person bench, and the row facing me is entirely empty. The only passengers are a man in a suit dozing off in the next row over, and a girl standing in front of the door. Because it's such an early morning train, it's very lonely inside the train car. Perhaps because I'm too absorbed in my thoughts, I strangely don't even register the clatter of the train. I vaguely imagine a spaceship flying through the darkness of the void of space. The noise of the chaotic outside world does not reach me. All that's here is my own worthless imagination, the sound of my heart pumping blood, and the memories of what happened just an hour ago. It came out of the blue. Tonomaki-san had passed away. Tonoshiki is to return the Tono household at once. The telegram sent from my older original household, whom I hadn't heard from in nearly 7 years, said something to that effect. I couldn't go against the decision made by the main Tono family. I'm still a student after all, and I rely on them for living expenses. In an act of defiance, I decided to leave the morning of the day I had to return, rather than the night before. I just wanted to stay as long as possible in the home I had been living in up until now. It was my way of showing my respect to the Aryamas. They might have only done as the main household ordered, but even though I still had absolutely no connection to them, they still accepted me as one of their own. I mean, he was adopted originally, kinda. Thank you for the food. Today's breakfast is delicious as always. Before the sun had risen, I finished my breakfast, left the table, and pressed my palms together in the room that used to be mine. It was a meager way to express my gratitude for all the years I had spent there. But if I didn't get these feelings on my chest then, they'd linger in my heart long after I had left. Life with them was nothing but cheerful. That's all the baggage I need to take with me. When I left the Arima household, Kiko-san was the only person to see me off. It's my own suggestion that I should be as quiet as possible so not to wake the rest of the family. Once again, these like backgrounds are super good. They're like real good because in the original we didn't get really much of anything. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Please give my regards to Father and Miyako. The person who had played the role of my mother for 7 years had a terribly sad look on her eyes. I never thought I'd see that look or her look like that. I know it will be hard living in the Tono mansion, but hang in there. Physically weak, so don't be too reckless. I accepted her words of concern with an open heart. The past 7 years have been truly peaceful for me. If the Arimas didn't mind having me around either, then I couldn't be happier. For 7 years, I'm as healthy as a man can be. May not look like it, but my body is rather sturdy, you know. Yes, you're right. The Tonas are full of special people, but your fearlessness is something uniquely yours. Your ability to take things in stride, even as a child, has always amazed me. At her words mingled with a bitter smile, I smiled back. It made me happy that, in Keiko-san's mind, I was still her child. You're overestimating me. I'm off then. Take care of yourself, Mom. Yes, I will. Take care of her as well, Shiki. Keiko-san not replying with a "see you" is something I'd expect. She sent me off with tears in the corners of her eyes, having already accepted that I would never return. Haha, get pranked. Not coming back. This all happened just 40 minutes ago. It was a turning point in my life. It was the beginning of a new life for me and the end of Tono Shiki's old one. The scenery outside is changing little by little. I must have passed through Yashirogi, a suburb across the river, and entered the urban areas of Soya. The train starts heading up towards the surface. I feel it gently ascending the slope. This will be the last time I see this view on my way to school. Yo, that's a pretty good view. The train rumbles on, providing a panoramic view of the city. Most of the city is still sleeping. Outside, the air is getting colder. It is an autumn morning in October, a time when all traces of summer have disappeared. Yo, also I think I might turn the music up a little bit louder. Give me a second. Yeah, there we go. I like that music, you know. Music's like best part of pretty much everything. I've been gazing at this scenery for almost a year and a half. This will be the last time I see this view on my way to school. Think back to the last 7 years, which passed by as quickly as the scenery outside the window. When I was 10 years old, I recovered from a serious accident that should have killed me on the spot. I met Sensei. I started living in the Arima household, and finally began the autumn of my second year of high school. Kind of special incident that Sensei told me about never occurred. As long as I wear the glasses she gave me, I don't see those lines at all. I believe that I've been spending my days living a precious yet ordinary life. Also, this is actually kind of a pretty good way to start the anime, if they do that. The prologue, they obviously need to start with that, or implement it in as time goes on, but like honestly I didn't kind of like how the original anime kind of adapted that. I think they should just have left the prologue as a prologue kind of, so you kind of know what's up. But then, yeah, this first episode will probably be like a 40-minute episode because they have to cover the prologue, which will take like 20 minutes, I would think. Or that would take like 15 to 20 minutes, I guess. They'd have to cover this, going to the Arima house, leaving Arima's, going to the mansion, and then they'd have to cover like the inversion impulse, basically, because they gotta have that hook at the very end or something, I guess. I'm interested in see how they'll adapt it. Starting today, however, things are going to be a bit more serious. I'm returning to my original home, so it's not as though I'm heading somewhere I don't belong. But at the same time, something about it just doesn't feel right. I've gotten so used to an ordinary house that living at a place like the Tona Mansion is going to be a big hassle for me. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
だいたい学校より広い洋館とか想像つかないんですけど。
I'm amazed at the things I was able to endure as a child. If I don't feel anxious about it, the mere thought of being forced to return to such an anachronistic lifestyle makes me feel a bit overwhelmed. The train arrives at a large station and stops for several minutes. Since this train stops at every station, I'll have to wait for the next rapid train to pass by. There's no one on the platform. At this time of day, I would expect to see a few businessmen in suits around, but this morning is practically quiet. The rapid train passes by on the track over. Thank you for waiting. The next stop is a familiar announcement. The automatic door closes using pneumatic pressure. There are only 4 stops left until Soya Station, where my high school is located. Hey yo, Ciel senpai! Whoa, Ciel making it onto the train! Hey yo! One who just slipped in as the closing doors is another student from my high school. She has a green ribbon, so she must be a third-year student. She looks vaguely familiar. The bag she's carrying probably contains something for club activities. Our eyes suddenly meet. She's staring at me. Not only that, but she's sauntering up to me. Hey yo, hey yo. But wait a second. On my screen, the game looks a little bit wacky. Yeah, like it looks a little bit. Like it looks a little bit out of aspect ratio. Yeah, like it's a wider, I think, not full screen for me. That's kind of weird. I don't know, it's fine. You guys will see the full thing, which is cool for you guys, I guess. Smile on their face made me apologize by reflex. She chuckles. As I'm sitting here, stunned by her behavior, she continues. Have you forgotten me already?
Ciel senpai.
Ciel senpai. Exactly. In an instant, my memory is jolted. Of course, she looks familiar. I've met her several times at school. So there's probably no one in our school who doesn't know Ciel senpai. some point she started being called the almighty senpai of Soyahai. If there are first years for trouble, she gives them advice and cheers them up. If there are second years who are lost, she will guide them herself. If there are third years causing trouble for other students, she will stop them from bullying their underclassmen. Yes. Some students even call her true student council president, since she's more dependable than the Kichus and the school council themselves. Goes without saying that, when I ran into trouble last week, she helped me a lot. It's actually a bit of a blur. She's right about me not being a morning person. Not only that, but it's very likely that my thoughts are a bit clouded in the prospects of returning home for the first time in 7 years. Yo, we get choices! Let's go! I have nothing to talk to her about, sadly. I should just carefully admire since I have the opportunity. Oh, I love these games choices. I have a few questions. Thing is, I don't think we can even get like Ciel route or Ciel route. Nothing to talk to about, sadly. I have a few questions. Suddenly a question crosses my mind. Why is she riding the train this early in the morning?
でもどうしたんですか？先輩、部活やってませんよね。こんな時間に登校なんて。
いえ、何を隠そうボランティア活動の帰りなんです。ほら、生徒会公募で公園のゴミ拾いがあったでしょ。あれをちゃちゃっと先ほどまで。
She says that I lied on as everything slides into place. Senpai's the type that's always working hard for other people's sake.
早朝から30分だけの奉仕活動だったんですけどね。他の皆さんは一旦帰宅したんですが、私は面倒なのでこのまま登校してしまおうかと。
Senpai's bag makes a clanking sound. Thought it was something for her club activities, but it seems to be cleaning equipment.
おや、中身見たいんですか？先輩の持ち物をチェックするなんておとなしそうに見えて大胆ですね。
Senpai leans in close to look me in the eye. Her face, her smell, and so many other things are so close that I'm not even sure where to look.
いえ、そういうわけじゃなくてですね。もし折りたたみ式のほうきとか熊手とかなら珍しいなと。
ほうほう。私の万能高枝切りばさみも見たいと。
All-purpose long-range pruning shears.
よろしい。それでしたら放課後、いつもの茶道部に来てください。あなたなら大歓迎です。
I can't help but feel embarrassed hearing say that with an infectious smile spread across her face. Unable to come up with a witty reply, best I can muster is a weak yes.
約束ですよ。ここだけの話、部費で購入したお茶受けが余ってしまいまして、日持ちするものではないので、元気な男の子の協力が不可欠なんです。
Ha 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 ha. I'm just jamming out the background music real quick. Da 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 da. Okay, that's enough
そうで
jamming.
すか。じゃあ予定が合えばぜひ。食べ物に釣られていくとか猫かって話ですけど。
Her smile is so friendly that I can't help but joke a little. The upperclassman with the green ribbon replies,
どちらかというと、ワンちゃんではないでしょうか。というか、猫科はよくありません。最後まで頼りになるのは律儀で頭のいい犬科です。
She declares her oddly strong preference with a pleased look on her face. Since we're headed the same way, our conversation continues to roll on. Talk about last week's midterm exams. About the sports festival, which was reduced in scale and only lasted a day. About the cafeteria, where the menu has never changed. About the controversy between the students and the school over the use of mobile devices. Which ends up being a bit of a downer, so we change the topic and laugh about the impressions of the movie we had recently seen. Yo, that's actually funny, that like, cause back in the original, like, there's no like mobile devices or anything, but yeah, dude, on it, like it's still kind of a Tsukihime, I think, is one of those like kind of timeless stories, I guess. But like, yeah, this is gonna be a little bit more updated, but it's like, it's still the original story is the original story. Minutes pass quickly. This is the universally beloved senpai that the rumors describe. She can really hold a conversation. I want to think about the fact we'll soon arrive at Suya Station, so I raise another topic, but... Hey yo. The grill across the street over there. As she points out, we had forgotten about our surroundings. Both bow our heads to apologize.
怒られちゃいましたね。
ごめんなさい。私の笑い声が大きかったんです。きっと。
After that, the conversation ends. It's as though the friendly atmosphere we had experienced up until now had been a lie. Everyone is just a stranger, and a silence peculiar to the city dominates the train. Dude, the CG is so good. It's actually really good. The train arrives at Soya Station. It's just before 7 o'clock. It's a little early for school and the city is still asleep. The station is quiet now, but in an hour it will be full of people and cars.
今朝も交通量が少なめですね。最近街の目覚めが遅い気がします。皆さん夜更かしなんでしょうかね。
Senpai says something strange while carrying her heavy luggage.
荷物学校まで持って行きましょうか。
ああ、いえいえ、お気になさらず、私は寄っていくところがありますので、ここでお別れですね。
And so, waving her hand with a smile, Senpai runs off. Such a light and fast run that an onomatopoeic boing would be appropriate. I almost want to break into a run as well, so as not to be outdone, but I have no particular reason to hurry. Besides, I have my body to worry about. I'll just head to school at my usual pace. And then the girl from earlier comes out of the ticket gate. She walks past me at a fast pace.
見かけ通り軽薄なんですね。うんざりしました。
And leaves behind some scathing criticism. I'm stunned by her sudden rebuke. Apparently I really offended her. From now on, I'll be more careful when talking on the train. I have unintentionally said something that made people uncomfortable. Well, even if you take that into account.
最近の中学生はおっかないな。
To give so harsh a critique while simply passing by, she's like a samurai casually executing a peasant. Hey, yo. That's what they did back in the day. Yo, here's the best, not really the best soundtrack, but my favorite soundtrack, I guess, from Tsukihime. Just the peaceful school one, you know? I walk to school a little slower than usual. Dude, straight up ufotable looking backgrounds right here. By the time I see the main gate, it's almost 7 o'clock. Students on their way to club activities are hurrying past the main gate. They must be trying to use the limited time they have until 8 o'clock, the start of homeroom. Do 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 do. Jamming to the music, as always. Tokyo Metropolitan Soya High School. Oh, so they're actually setting it in Tokyo now. That is interesting. This year marks the 14th anniversary of the old school's founding. It's a totally unremarkable high school with a moderate rate of advancement, possible extracurricular activities, and reasonably lax school rules. Only complaint from male students is a very common one. Please improve the outdated uniform design. Our requests have been completely ignored. On the other hand, the female students' uniform was changed 3 years ago. The school thought that people would be hesitant to apply if they had to wear the old-fashioned sailor uniforms, so they did the best they could to compromise. Interesting. Senior is familiar, but something feels amiss. Everyone seems more hectic this morning. She's running to the staff room with pale faces. A familiar black car is stationed in the parking lot. The sky is bleak. I find myself imagining a funeral with no attendees, or a somber funerary curtain stretching on and on into the distance. I sigh at my dark thoughts. I decide to shake off my unpleasant premonition and head to the classroom. What's up with that? What was up with that, though? I enter the classroom, sit down in my chair, and kill time until the morning homeroom. As I studiously get myself to my prep work, the classroom begins to fill with people.
おはよう。本日の朝練無事終了のお知らせ。
あれ？一番乗りは私らじゃないんだ。どうの早くない？
ああ、あれか。ボランティア。でも今日だったっけ？やっば、俺サボったかも。
Student class 2C get along better than most. They greet each other cheerfully as they see one another before taking their seats. I have a chat with the students that have just come back from club activities. Cover everything ranging from last night's news, which has been so thoroughly discussed there's barely anything left to say about it. School gossip that's less than 10 minutes old. Might be a simple idle talk to fill time, but it's a necessary part of our routine. It's a light one right before the day begins. This age of information overload would be exhausting for everyone involved if we only engaged in serious dialogue all the time. The atmosphere in the classroom suddenly changes. Harmonics chatter is replaced by furtive whispering. Hey, I know what furtive means now. It means like trying to hide it, kind of. The more you know. Prickling standoffish complaint echoes through the classroom. I know who it is without having to look. The guy that's just shown up. The one responsible for casting a shadow over the classroom.
Cheese! Good morning, Megane-kun!
Hey, yo, what's he saying?
今朝も新規採用しやがってまったくクソみたいな野郎ですね
Bruh. This is only quite long ago strayed from the idyllic spirit of our school.
おい、挨拶どうした
Yo, it's Shiro Emiya, right? Yeah,
珍
this
しく
is
朝から
fate.
来てやってんのにおはようの言葉もなしですかむしろ朝からいてくれてありがとうぐらいの気持ちはないのですか
ないよ。朝から濃い顔見てげんなりしてるだけ。そもそもありがとうとかないし、お前のために学校に来てるわけじゃないし。
何バカ言うなよ俺は遠野のために学校に来てるんだぞそんなの不公平じゃんか
I'm speechless. Sometimes I wonder why I'm his best friend. Orange dyed hair and pierced ears. Kid in his eyes and his rebellious attire. impression of someone who's always spoiling for a fight. In this day and age where the culture of delinquent students has died out, it's a free-spirited purveyor of violence. Hey yo. Dude, I am liking how they're kind of referencing, like, because, like, their original characters were back, like, 20 years ago, and there's a lot of stuff that's changed in 20 years. But it's still, like, it's just such a timeless story, I guess. But it's, like, updated Tsukihime in a way. That's him, Anui Arihiko.
まあいいか。朝から教室に来るのはいいことだ。おはよう、アリヒコ。ついに出席日数を気にしだしたか？
いや、そこは別に気にしてない。まだまだ余裕はありますよ。今日は家に姉貴がいるんでサボれなくなっただけ。つうか朝まで鉄難してたんでいい加減体力の限界だ。
そうか、すまない。挨拶をやり直させてくれ。おやすみ、クズヒコ。机に急げ。さっさと寝ろ。
Ah, see, Hiko. Hurry back to your desk and get some sleep.
何その冷めた反応。
What the heck?
それが中学からのライバルに対する態度ですか？もっとこう熱い対応してくれませんかね。
なんで俺とお前がライバルなんだ。無軌道に行きたいんなら街で同行の死を見つけてろよ。あんまり。
No, I've lent him almost 10,000 yen since middle school. He hasn't given any of it back. That's not a rival anymore, that's just a normal enemy.
どうしてかな。遠野ってば俺にだけ冷たいよな。他の奴らには聖人君主みたいなやつなのに不公平じゃね？
なんだ、分かってるじゃないか。世の中公平なことってあんまりないだろ。
そりゃそうだけどよ。
Also, I guess I am gonna turn the music down just like a tad bit. There, that's good.
やっぱお前俺には特に冷たくね？
Arihiko sighs exaggeratedly. It's not like I'm being cold to him on purpose, it's just a natural consequence of how frank we are with each other. Although our interests and tastes are different, we're on the same wavelength somehow, I guess.
まあ家から逃げてきたはいいとして、普段から夜型のお前が朝から出席するなんてどんな風の吹き回しだ。ちょっといやかなり普通じゃないぞ。
まあな、俺だってそう思う。たまたま目が覚めたからって来るもんじゃねえよな、学校ってやつは。ぶっちゃけもう帰りて。ああ、やっぱ学生には勉強する意思とか必要なんですかね。
He's certainly right, but when this guy says it, makes me think that simply coming to school despite not feeling up to it is admirable.
そのあたりの議論は今度暇な時に鏡に向けてやってくれ。俺が聞きたいのはなんで街に行かないかってこと。カラオケでも漫画喫茶でも時間潰すならそっちのがいいんじゃない？
そりゃあれだよ、最近は何かと物騒だからですよ。腹ごと殺すのもただじゃねえし、あっちには体力ある時しか顔出したくねえわけ。
物騒？
おう、遠野だって知ってんだろ、例のあれ。派手に出回ってる通り魔事件の話で、
Spree killings that have been
駅
caught
前
in
の
the
セン
story
ター街、
recently.
夜になると警官も巡回しているしな。
そっか、そんな話もあったっけ？
I didn't read that. But if I recall correctly,
なんだっけ？
ah,
すごく低俗な売り文句だったけど。深夜の通り魔
the
事件。
midnight spree killer, wasn't it?
連続猟奇殺人事件な。被害者は大抵若い女で2日前に発見された仏さんで8人目。 かつ全員の喉元にバツの字の傷跡があるとかないとか。
違うよ乾くん。殺されちゃった人はみんな体内の血液が著しく。
Yo, look, it's fourth route. I mean, it's sixth route. Look at her. She's in the game. Whoa. Musica pops in from nearby to correct him.
ああ、そうだったそうだった。現代の吸血鬼かっていう見出しだったもんな、あれ。サンキュー、ゆみずか。おはようさん。
乾くんもおはよう。ついでに言うと外傷には個人差があって、傷が全くない場合と損傷の激しいタイプに分かれてるだったかな。
詳しいんだね、弓塚さん。
そんなことないよ。この町で起きている事件なんだもん。ニュースを見てれば嫌でも覚えちゃうことだと思う。
とま、そういうことだよ、遠野。いくら俺でもな、夜中に殺人犯が出歩いているうちは夜遊びなんざしねっての。
なんだ、そんな理由だったのか。まともすぎて逆に意外だ。殺人犯に怯えて家にこもるなんて。
らしくないじゃねえよ。普通は殺人犯に怯えるだろう。こっちはやる気がねえのに、あっちだけやる気満々とか、不意打ちにも程がある。絶対にごめんだね。俺はまだ人生棒に振りたくねえ。
ああ、そっか。そうだよな。狙われたらとことんまで付き合うしかないってことだもんな。
お前ねえ、そこは逃げるって選択肢はねえの？なんでとことんまで付き合うんだよ。
だって逃げられないんじゃないのか、そういう場合って。
遠野に振った俺がアホだった。
Yo, Shiki's just straight up like, yo, if I'm being attacked, it's to the death. That's how it works.
実際の話、俺も殺人犯は気にしてねえ。ああいうのはほら、天才だろ。出会っちまう方に運がない。俺が街に出ないのはもっと現実的な理由でさ。最近、北口駅前で新手のバカどもが湧いてんだよ。正直顔も見たくねえ。
Yo. Also comparing like murders to natural disaster, that's kind of. I think Nasu's done that before. I think in Karno Kyokai, if I'm not mistaken, maybe. Or I'm pretty sure. In front of the North Gate. That's downtown's opposite business district. At night, it's bustling with lots of people and traffic. Arhiko lives near the North Gate, so if he's avoiding these new idiots, it must be a pretty dangerous group indeed.
どうのも聞いたことねえか？度胸試しのようなもの。秘密の入り口から地下道に入って奥までつければ大金が手に入るってやつ。
Hey yo, that doesn't
それ
sound
なら
very good.
私も聞いたことあるけど、それってただの階段じゃなかった？
ああ、結構昔からある都市伝説だったらしい。それを儲け話っぽく仕立てて利用してるバカどもがいるんだよ。どっから流れてきた新参者か知んねえが、おかげで北口の空気の悪さはシャレにならねえ。俺、基本的に痛いの嫌だし、あんだけ派手にやってればポリも動くだろうし、連中が捕まるのでしばらく自重して家にこもってんのよ。
Urban legends of the North Gate. I'm no local, so I can't say I've ever heard of it. I guess that's something else I'll have to start paying attention to starting today.
なんだよ、反応薄いな。さてはあれか？朝から貧血でぶっ倒れたのか？
いや、今朝はまだ大丈夫。心配してくれるのはありがたいんだけどね。そう四六時中貧血を起こしてたら体が持たないよ。
まあそりゃもっともだ。遠野が大丈夫だって言うんならまあ大丈夫なんだろうよ。
ほら、授業が始まるぞ。早く席に戻って寝ろ。
はいよ。と、そうそう、今日の昼飯な、食堂でするからな。
Ayuko snickers as though plotting something and returns to his seat.
それじゃあね、遠野くん。
あ、うん。弓塚さんも付き合わせて悪かったね。
With quick, light steps, Yumizaki returns to her seat. I am taking a script analysis class, and so I might actually write my... I think they wanted me to like write a paper or like write a paper on a script analysis, and what I might end up doing is I might actually write it on Tsukihime, just as a script analysis. I don't know exactly what chapter I'm gonna do, but there's a lot of good things to break down out of the Tsukihime visual novel, so I'm definitely going to do that. But it still doesn't really show exactly characters entering like the scenes, that kind of stuff. I would still have to look up an actual script for it, maybe. That could be cool. Honestly, like a Tsukihime like play or theater production would be pretty interesting also. I think it would be kind of cool. Just homeroom is about to end. The teacher next door comes in and announces that Toyama sensei is absent. Although it's like pretty much impossible because you can't slice up Arcueid into 16 pieces IRL. It's not allowed. Woohoo, today math class is a self-study. Someone in the class shouts in victory. Toyama sensei is our math teacher. If she's not here, today's class will be a self-study, so long as we complete the assigned printouts, we can spend the rest of the period as we please. Some students use it to study, some to play. I start to work on my math problems. When I was a child, I was told that it would be difficult for me to enter a prestigious school with my body, so I stopped attending cram school, but studying itself was still interesting. Doesn't hurt to have good education regardless of whether or not you go to college or enter the workforce. After solving a few application problems, I look up and notice some students in the hallway. Since my seat is far away, I can only hear fragments of their voices.
やっぱり信じられない。
朝練の時、先生たちが結相会で職員室に。
まだ噂だから。
Hey yo, did the math teacher get like blood sucked?
ひどいよ。なんでそんなことに。
Hey yo, is she dead? I furrow my brow, thinking that the worse my premonition is, the more likely it is to come
昨日
true.
の事件。
校長室に刑事っぽい二人組が。
Brace myself for what's coming next. It's something I'm used to, but I breathe in and wait for the words so that I don't dismiss it as something natural.
だからさ、遠山。昨日死んだらしいよ。
Toyama died last night. I close my eyelids gently as if blocking out my headache. Back to peaceful. Da 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 da. Wah 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 wah. Yeah. Rumors about Tomiyama Sensei didn't spread very far, and my class ended without incident. It's lunchtime and the classroom is bustling. Some are in the cafeteria, some are in the courtyard, and some are still in the classroom spreading out their lunches. Now where should I have lunch? Let's see. Figure it out in the hallway. I think I will... Because meeting up with Arihiko is like a Ciel route kind of thing. I think that I will stay in the classroom and see what happens. Stay in the classroom and see what happens. What can I say? I'm too lazy to even get up. I'm hungry and I know I need to eat, but I just don't feel like having anything right now. Seem to remember Ayuka mentioning something earlier. I'm not in the mood. What I want to do right now is sink deep into my chair and take a breather.
あ、よかった。教室に残ってた。
I hear an unexpected voice nearby. Turn around to see if they were talking to me.
乾くんと食堂に行ってなかったんだね。危うく探しに行くところだった。
ちょっと食欲なくて。それより何かあった、弓塚さん。俺に声をかけるなんてもしかしなくても一大事。
I'm not really a friend of Yumizuka's, just a classmate. She may have joined in when I was chatting with Arihika this morning, but it's rare for her to talk to me one-on-one like this. I feel it's reasonable for me to assume that she's some urgent business that she needs me for.
まあそう思うよね。これまでがこれまでだし。
It's only a momentary lull though. She quickly returns to her normal cheerful expression.
幅野先生が探してたよ。お家のことで話があるって言ってたけど。
うちのことって引っ越しについてかな。
Habano sensei is the head teacher of the second years. Since Toyama sensei is absent, I guess this now falls to him instead.
ありがとう。すぐに行くよ。けどおかしいな。住所移転の手続きは昨日済ませたんだけど。
I force my sluggish body to stand up. Yumizuka stares at me motionlessly.
他にも連絡があったりする？
他にはもう本当何にもなくてですね。
Haha, Yumizuka. Wonder if Yumizuka is feeling sick as well. At this point, Yumizuka Satsuki is one of the central figures in our class. She's cheerful, easy to get along with, hardworking, and it's clear that she cares more about those around her than herself. Most of the boys like her, and there are no bad rumors about her among the girls. Actually, there's always a crowd of people surrounding her. She's a well-liked mood setter, polar opposite of my unsociable self. Although in the same second-year class, we've only exchanged a few words. To be honest, I'm surprised she even remembers my name.
遠野くん、ちょっと聞いていいかな。
いいよ。何？
込み入ったことならごめんね。今引っ越しって言ったけど、遠野くんどこかに引っ越しちゃうの？
When she asked the question, I understood. Confusion is understandable, but her question is off the
い
mark.
や、住所が変わっただけ。引っ越し先もそうやだしね。そう大きな変化はないよ。夜行を気に入ってるし、転校とかないない。
そうだよね。うち入試厳しかったし、試験勉強すっごく頑張りました。
Although I wouldn't have someone like Yumizuka would find the school particularly challenging.
あ、でも遠野くんお家が変わるっていうことは、もしかして有馬さんのお家から出ることになったの？
そうだよ。名残惜しいけど、いつまでもお世話になってるわけにもいかないし。
No, wait a minute. I'm positive that Arihiko is the only person who knows that I've been living with the Aryama family.
ごめん。俺、弓塚さんに話したことあったっけ？
もちろん遠野くんから聞いた話だもん。これずいぶん前の話だけどね。
そっか。それはなんていうか。
I still had nothing else to talk about. Can't remember anything in particular, but if Yumizuki and I were chatting like this in the past, it's pretty plausible that I was struggling to keep the conversation going and ended up mentioning it.
それじゃ俺はこれで。幅野先生は職員室。
10分までに来ないと減点だって。いつも思うけど、一体何を減点するんだろうね。
Zumizuka laughs awkwardly with neither sarcasm nor irony. Can't help but laugh as well. Our school head has a habit of threatening to dock our points, but obviously these days, poor conduct doesn't affect any parts of our grading.
ところで、お昼はどうするの？
職員室に行くついでに食堂に寄ってくよ。有彦がいるだろうし。
そっか。じゃあまたね、遠野くん。
Waving awkwardly, Mizuka leaves for her usual group of girls. After answering Abana-sensei's difficult questions about my relationship with the Tono family, as succinctly as I could, I go to the cafeteria. The cafeteria is busy again today. Most of the tables are occupied, if not full. Yo, how's it going, punk? Welcome to the chat. Only about a third of the students use the cafeteria. Those who are worried about how much money they have left in their wallets run out to the cheaper school store. Arihiko and I sit down at the table, watching the other students line up with meal tickets in their hands. I am in Kahaku Route in the original. I hope you're having fun. Yeah, dude, Kahaku Route is pretty good. You're probably gonna enjoy it. Especially, yeah, you've already finished Hisui Route then. I honestly, I think Hisui Route is probably still my favorite route, but Kahaku Route is very good as well. But yeah, now we're doing Blue Glass Moon. This is gonna take me a long time to get through. We're already like an hour into this episode today, and we're like where it would have been like a good solid half this time, or even shorter, just to get through in the original. So this definitely is longer, I've noticed that. But there's way more CG, so it's gonna be easy to make thumbnails, I think. From some of the like character panels and whatnot, so that should be pretty fun. I am going to probably actually start playing the Fate visual novel on the side of this as well. I'll try to stick around. Yeah, like you're not really gonna have much spoilers here. It's pretty much just remake stuff. And I have noticed that like the remake, it kind of plays on the fact that it's like 20 years after. Like it's the same like timeless Tsukihime story. It's just kind of updated, I'd say a bit. A little bit more like expanded. So I'm currently liking it so far, and voice acting is really good. The soundscape is very nice. That's definitely a very big improvement. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. It means a lot.
それがまだおいでになされん。食堂で待ち合わせだったんだが、ちょっと待っててくれ。様子を見てくる。
Arihiko leaves his curry udon and runs away from the table. I opted for Chikara udon today. I hope he comes back before the noodles get too soggy. I'm not planning on playing the remake at the moment, so it's all good. Yeah.
ゲストって3年生だったのか。
ああ、面白い先輩だな。ここ数日アタックしてようやくランチご一緒ツアーまで取り付けたんだよ。今日は他に約束ができたとかで学校中を走り回ってるらしい。
忙しい人みたいだね。どうも。
忙しいっていうか、全自動マッサージ機みたいな。
Arihiko splits his chopsticks, seemingly disappointed.
ま、今回は仕方ねえよな。じゃ、いただきますと。
はい、いただきます。
Itadakimasu. We both tuck in our udon into our udon. Still likening someone to a fully automated massage machine is interesting. It makes me a little curious. I'll ask him about that next time.
で、本当のところどうなんだよ。
だって何が？
今日お前が朝から教室にいた理由。いちこさんが家にいるって嘘だろ。あの人今昼間の仕事についてるじゃんか。
In between bites of my Chikara udon, I pose a question on the man to the man across from me. Ichikyo-san is Arihiko's older sister. She's one of those mysterious working adults and has taken care of me in the past.
ああ、そっか。バレるか。殿、今日から実家に戻るのか？
そうだけど、その話したっけ？
してねえよ。俺は姉貴から聞いただけ。それでだな。殿がブルー入ってないか、ちょっと確認したくなってな。
そうか。それで成果は？
早起きするほど面白い見せ物じゃなかったぜ。がっかりですよ、がっかり。
ご期待に添えず申し訳ない。ほんと有彦は暇人だな。
暇人だからゴシップ好きなんですよ。殿さ、小学生の自分からよそに預けられてたんだろ。どんな理由かは知らないが、それから7年も経つんだ。なんで今になって感動してた息子を呼び戻すんだよ、お前さんの父親は。
感動されていたわけじゃない。なんとなく屋敷から出るように言われただけだ。
遠野君、君ね、なんとなくで子供を家から追い出す過程があったら、それは悲劇じゃなくて
A comedy rather than a tragedy.
ただし、ほら一歩手前、寒すぎて笑えねえけどな。
Hahaha, laughs Arihiko exaggeratedly. One of his strong points is that he never takes things too seriously. Truth is, even before I was involved in the car accident and hospitalized, my relationship with my father was already strained. The Tonas have been a prominent family for a long time, and their way of life is far from the norm. What I remember from my childhood is a huge Western-style building, and the pressure of the family's traditions, which were locked in time to match it. The Tone family is an extremely wealthy and a shareholder in several companies. My father, Tone Makisa, was apparently a mediocre businessman, but the assets he inherited from his grandfather were strong enough to keep the company running smoothly. Anachronistic building. The life of the upper class, where everything revolves around decorum and history. As a child, I couldn't help but be bored by the lifestyle inside that mansion. So when I was told that I would be left at the Arimas, I accepted without much resistance. I think it was for the best in the end. I got along well with the people of the Arima family, and I treated my stepmother Keiko and stepfather Fumiomi as if they were my real parents. Tonishiki has always longed for a normal family and lived with our Arimas as though you were an actual son. I don't think there's anything to regret about that. Except for one thing, I can't help but feel bad about leaving my younger sister Akiya behind at the Tona mansion. Akiya must hate me, hate Tonishiki. I mean, she has every right to hate me. She was left alone in the huge mansion, living with my hard-headed father. It's easy to imagine how Akiya feels about me running away from her.
そうだな。確かに。なんとなくで家から追い出されたら、そりゃ笑うしかない。
だろ？おまけに二度と敷居はまたぐなっていう決め台詞付きだ。世間様ではそういうのを感動って言うんだ。今まで聞かなかったけどな。お前、なんで感動されたんだ？
I wonder. The problem is that I don't have the answer to that question myself. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to read this and Fate to watch Carnival Phantasm. It's good though. Yeah. Dude, yeah, like, Carnival Phantasm is the end game. Is the end game of all Nasu works. You read everything else as a prequel to Carnival Phantasm. And also the Emiya cooking show. I'm actually gonna watch that at some point. Because, like, low-key, it should be pretty good. Especially because it's done by Ufotable as well. So I'm going to watch that. Might have been a series of bad coincidences. Well, I must have been unlucky in many ways.
まあ、話したくないならいい。
Akiko lifts his bowl with both hands and chugs the broth. Lunch break is short, so I decide to follow his example and finish the meal as quickly as possible. It's after school. I couldn't bring myself to head to the mansion right away, so I stare idly out the window at the courtyard. The classroom has been dyed orange by the setting sun. The color is like that of a still wet watercolor red. Hurts my eyes just a little. I don't really like crimson red. I feel nauseous as it seems to steep into the depths of my eyeballs. I'm weak against things that remind me of blood. Or more accurately, I've developed a condition that has made me weak to blood. Seven years ago, Tonoshiki had a near-death experience. I'm told that there was a terrible accident, and since that happened, to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, I was caught up in the collapsing building. Originally, it seemed that the injury wouldn't be fatal. Everyone had given up hope. It was a sad state of affairs. However, thanks to the quick response of the doctors, the fact that all the wounds were concentrated in one place, I miraculously survived. When I think back on it like this, it seems like someone else's story, and it's only natural that much of it feels made up. One day I unexpectedly got involved in an accident, was struck by an object which pierced through my chest, and eventually lost consciousness. It looked like a machine that had been forcibly shut down. The rest of my memory was just painful and cold. Before I knew it, I found myself waking up in a hospital bed. I still have the scars from that moment. According to what I heard, not only did I land hard on my back when I fell, but a piece of glass had pierced my chest. Thanks to that, I have a burn-like scar in the middle of my chest and back. First time I looked directly at my body after the wounds had closed, I passed out at the gruesome sight. Since then, I've had frequent bouts of anemia and collapsed many times, causing a lot of trouble for those around me. This is probably the reason why my father, Tono Makiso, left me at the Arima house, saying that I wasn't strong enough to be the heir of the Tono family. Chest wound, Yo, the freaking lines. I hold back the wave of nausea that comes out of me. The pain is like a needle picking my eyeball, but I take some deep breaths and push through it. I've also been playing Multi-Blood Actress again, which is a pretty cool game. Yeah, I'm playing Type Lumina, which is the most current one. Just cause yeah, it's most current, and like making videos on that kind of works a little bit better than the other things. But I did download Actress again, and I think you still can do like emulated or online stuff on there, which is pretty cool. So I might check that out, but I couldn't get it to work properly. Like I don't think any of my controls worked or whatnot. Something was up with that. A mark of death in the middle of my chest, hidden beneath my uniform. Since that accident, I've been able to see these lines. Thanks to the glasses that Sensei gave me, I've been able to live a decent life, but if I hadn't met her, I would have lost my mind a long time ago. Yeah, there's a community version which is still somewhat active. Yeah, it's pretty good. When we parted this morning, Keiko-san was worried that people in the Tono household were different from the norm. It's an unnecessary worry, because if we're talking about abnormality, then I'm the one who's not normal. my glasses back on and pick up my bag. I can't stay in the classroom forever. I'll wander around the school, return to the mansion. Oh, which should we do? I think what we will do is we will return to the mansion. I walk a new route back to my new home. After passing through rows of apartment complexes, I arrive at a spacious and upscale residential area. I'm getting closer and closer to the Tona mansion. The scenery around me isn't unfamiliar. 7 years ago, I lived in the Tona mansion until I was 10 years old, and although I only remember it vaguely, the scenery is a little nostalgic. My feelings are a bit complicated. This return trip is both nostalgic and refreshing. I walk up a long slope. Houses are disappearing from the surroundings. The smell of greenery tickles my nostrils. Even though we're in the middle of a city, I can feel an air that rejects modernity. Almost all the land from this point on belongs to the Tono family. The mansion where Tonoshiki lived until he was 10 years old. All that's left are old memories and a family that doesn't get along. However, now I only have one immediate family member left in the mansion. The father that hated me, Tono Makisa, that the Tono family passed away the other day. My mother died of an illness the year Akiya was born. So there were only 2 Tonos left, me and my younger sister Akiha. Normally, as the eldest son, Tonoshiki would be the family heir, but I don't have that right. Being the heir of the Tono family means that you're subject to a rigid education. I didn't want to do that, so I spent my time freely. I can't even remember how many times Makisa gave me a hard time about it. Then I was involved in an accident that left me with a physical defect. Makisa took the opportunity to cut me off. He said, even if you're the eldest son, a weak man like you could drop dead at any time cannot be my successor. I'd fight his expectations and managed to recover, but by that time my younger sister Akiya had been chosen as the heir. Akiya was already being raised as the daughter of the Tono family, but once I was out of the running, her upbringing became even stricter. I used to play together with her in the mansion gardens up until I was 10 years old. Up until I was involved in that accident. I haven't seen her even once since then. That was 7 years ago. I wonder how the Tono mansion has changed. We'll arrive at the mansion in a few minutes. If there's one thing that's still on my mind, it's my father, Tono Makisa. Akiya. Wasn't there another kid we used to play with? Yes. Dude, and this is where like the routes are gonna get chosen, I guess, later on. But I think on the Far Side route, on the Far Side game, they're gonna change the Tono Makisa one to like who the Hisui maybe. But I'm gonna just click this, even though because it doesn't really take you anywhere really. When I think of it, there are lots of other people living in the Tono residence besides Makisa and Akiha. Relatives of ours were staying in the main building. Servants were living and working in the annex. It was 7 years ago, so I don't remember much, but I do remember playing with other children, not just me and Akiha. Or Akiha and I, if you want to have proper English. I'm pretty sure they were. No, I can't quite remember. There were many people coming and going in the Tono residence at the time. I heard from Kieko-san that it was 7 years ago. Makisa was vigorously expanding his business. Since many strangers came to the mansion every day, it would be odd to remember each and every one of them.
そうだった。それより今は親父のことだ。
Think back on the time I spent with my father, Tona Makisa. Though I don't actually remember doing anything with him. Makisa was a strict father. A quiet man who didn't let his emotions show. Do not go out. Do not go into the city. People are born with different statuses. Protect our noble bloodline. Must not be viewed as the same as others. Those are Makisa's rules. And by extension, the rules of the Tona family. I rebelled against those rules. I felt that my father's teachings were wrong. Not because of a fault in his logic. He just never managed to convince me. Maybe it was just me, but as a child I felt like his teachings didn't even belong in this era. Although I wasn't the only one who disagreed with Makisa's words. I was the only one who could defy him face to face. I think the last two options will be related to the Farside routes. Maybe one related to Satsuki. Yeah. Cause in the original, like, you run into Satsuki kind of on the way home from school, or like she like talks to her or whatever, I think. But that's I think on the second day you go back home though. But I think they probably will actually show it in this and have it actually more integrated better. Because in the original, like, near side routes, like, Satsuki just doesn't actually really have any relevance to the story, I guess. But we'll see how they adapt it in here. Roll outside the mansion is ugly. It's poison to you. It's ironic. The old man's favorite phrase ended up being true, even if only for me. After I woke up in the hospital, Makisa didn't come to visit me even once. My final memory of him was him ordering me to go to the Arma house, the day I returned to the mansion after being discharged from the hospital. That Makisa isn't with us anymore either. I think that the fact I'm not experiencing any strong feelings about my father's death speaks volumes about our relationship. The main gate is firmly shut. As a child, I knew that the Tona mansion was pretty big, but after living in the normal size Arima house, it's finally sinking in just how huge this mansion really is. This entire hill overlooking the city is the property of the Tona family. The plot with the mansion on it alone is larger than my high school. If you count the forest that spreads out behind it, it's probably 3 times bigger. The grounds are surrounded by a long wall and trees, making it impossible to peek inside. The main gate, which serves as the entrance to the property, is closed and forbidding. Next to the bigger gate for kais is a doorway for people. For a moment of hesitation, I press the button that seems to be the doorbell. And actually, I'm going to save. I'm gonna make a save here. Because for the reason of that. Wait, what's the. Oh, it's showing a way at wacky time, I guess. But. Yeah, it was a few days ago that we did the prologue, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna go back to the title because that's gonna be it for me today. So we're gonna have like this first day in like 2 parts, I think, is what's gonna end up being. But yeah, it's 7:37 right now. I need to. Oh crap! I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, like I need to make a thumbnail for this, re-edit it. But we should actually have all those CGs, which is gonna be really good. Yeah, like look at all the CG right here. But yeah, you can get this. Yo, you can like select the different. There's the different backgrounds. It's the underground one. Dude, this game's like super good already. But where's the character CG? I don't actually get to see a character. I don't see the characters. I want to see the characters. I want to see what the characters are at. I mean, these are very nice backgrounds. It's just, there's like... I don't know exactly then. The flow chart, we've got this. These are the different choices. That's actually pretty cool. They show this? Yeah. But I guess you can just straight up like choose the different chapters. Yeah, I guess you just end scene playback. Yeah, so I need, let's see, I need a bit of this right here, I think. I love the remake artwork. Yeah, it's really good. What is my skip button though? Fast forward and pressing button. Okay, there we go. We just need a Ciel background, I think. That's what we're gonna look for. It's actually very smooth right here. Let's see. And I'll skip through here. I don't remember exactly what one I was gonna use. Yeah, this one I'll probably use. So, let's see, now I gotta capture this. Now I gotta capture this.
Ciel senpai.
Okay, screen capture. Yeah, it's kinda... I don't like that they don't actually have all of the overlays with the characters in it, because I feel like that would be really cool that you could set it up. Curry? Yeah, curry udon. Crap. Dude, my freaking mouse is scuffed. There we go. I got a good size one now. We'll be chilling. But yeah, that is going to do it for the stream today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Ciel's favorite food is curry? Yeah, probably. I didn't actually play through Ciel route, so I'm looking forward to that when the remake version of it gets translated. Because the reason I chose that is because I like her design better in the remake. So, and it should be pretty good. But anyway, that's gonna be it for me today. It's been me, Hokioku. Catch you guys later. Remember to subscribe.